When we do home tours, I always try to have a little something that ties the home tours together, some sort of theme. Sometimes it's fun to go to the most expensive homes in the area. Sometimes it's fun to go to the largest homes. Walking distance to Purdue University is always super popular. Pool homes, lake homes. There are things that tie it together. I started to put a little bit of a theme together around North 9th Street and Highland Park homes this afternoon, but wound up with kind of a slightly more eclectic collection than I perhaps completely intended to. So we're going to call these South 9th Street and near South Lafayette homes. I don't really have a great title that ties them all together other than a general vicinity. But I'm going to show you the map for the first one, and then I'll talk about what ties these homes together geographically. So the first one that we're going to look at tonight is 811 South 9th Street, which is a home that was built in 1868, but you wouldn't know it. And that's a little bit of a theme that ties some of our homes together. But South 9th Street, of course, if you're in the Lafayette area, I think you know where 9th Street is. I'm going to show you on the map. So here's our home on 9th Street. Now, like I said, I started out with like Highland Park homes, which is like the stately old home neighborhood in Lafayette. It's got some beautiful old homes that were the homes of the rich and famous of yesteryear, if you will, and they've been really well taken care of overall. But I wound up with not quite that collection. So while I'm talking about this home here on 9th Street, I'm talking about a corridor of homes that are between 9th Street and 18th Street in the Kossuth corridor, a little south of Kossuth. And these are older homes, and this particular set of homes are all well taken care of. But that's the thing that ties them together. It's not they're all Highland Park. You might call them Highland Park adjacent. You might call them near South Side. You might call them Old Town. But that's our location of our first one. And just if you're not familiar with the Lafayette area, it's here on the south, just the near south side of Lafayette. And over here is West Lafayette, where Purdue University is. Let's bring up the home and we'll take our tour of 811 South 9th Street in Lafayette. This one is a beautiful 4-bedroom, 2-bath with 2,658 square feet. And like I said, it was built in short-term memory here, 1868. So it is more than a century. Almost do some 132, 152. It's 158 years old. But if you go to take the tour, and you'll see the Victorian influence on the outside. It is Victorian, but it's not the super ornate, overt one. But when you move inside, there is absolutely no doubt. Look at the wood archways, the wood trim, the wood banister. It's absolutely beautiful on the inside. A lot of woodwork that has been well taken care of. A lot of original woodwork there. You move into the living room with the typical connected dining area of homes of that age. You've got the large rooms with the high ceilings, with the 12-foot ceilings, and then we start moving over towards the dining room and the kitchen that has been updated and modernized. This is not an 1868 kitchen. This one is not over the top. It is a beautiful Victorian home that has been taken care of and updated and brought up to date, but not in such a way that it's a ridiculous millionaire's home. And I'm not going to tell you what the price is until we get to the end. No, there's anything wrong with millionaires' homes, but believe it or not, this one is actually in reach. It's not quite a starter home, but it honestly could be with today's market prices. We move upstairs and start to move away from the wood. The wood is still there, but now we get some carpet on the floor, and instead of the wood finish, we get some paint on all of the trim work. Large bedrooms. In some cases, these might be rooms that had the walls knocked down at some point. You got the modernized bathroom. Like I said, this one is 4 bedrooms and 2 baths with 2,700 square feet. And one thing you'll notice amongst all of these Victorians is they don't tend to lack for space. So lots of things that you can do with the various rooms, make them bedrooms, make them offices, make them music rooms, but quite a lot of them have these finished attic spaces that are actually in the envelope of the home that give you rec rooms, art studios, lots of storage, lots of closet space, fun little funky spaces just because of the architecture of the house itself. And then you move out to the backyard and you have the old style, I would call it shotgun style backyard with the detached garage, the stonework patio, and this one has the 2-car garage with the side. It's a front-loading garage. It's turned sideways. Move down to the basement. That is perfectly utilitarian basement. You got your laundry set up down there and perfectly fine for a basement. You might look at that and go, oh my, that's scary. But that's a normal basement for that kind of home. That is 811 South 9th Street, built in 1868, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, has that basement, has that wonderfully finished 3rd floor attic space, 2,658 square feet, currently listed for $378,500. On a feature, location, and price standpoint, I think it would be hard to do better on this. A $300,000 home in the 300s with this kind of space that has been taken care of, that has the historic character, but that has been updated, you'd be hard pressed to find anything else like that. So go to the LafayetteReal.com/YouTube, fill out that form, and we can go take a tour of this home together, or any home in the Greater Lafayette area. And then we're going to continue our tour of homes in the South 9th Street / Kossuth corridor here, with 701 Kossuth Street. This one, of course, is right on Kossuth. It's in the title, and it's got the stucco finish here. I'll put it on the map for us before we get into the tour. Like I said, it's right on Kossuth, one of the major east-west roads through the near south side of Lafayette. So right here on Kossuth, on the northern end of the Highland Park neighborhood. Here is South Street 26 through Lafayette. And if we zoom out a little bit more, we'll see this is Lafayette, this is West Lafayette. I mean, location-wise, it really doesn't get any more central than that. So let's go on our tour. 701 Kossuth Street in Lafayette. This one is 4 bedroom, 4 baths. It is a pretty whopping 4,566 square feet on slightly more than a 1/4 acre. And part of the room for that whopping square footage is, of course, this, you could call this a sunroom, a 4-season room, an enclosed porch, but definitely an inside-outside living space that stays warm with the hydronic floorboard heater there in the winter. Moving on to the living room with floorboard heaters and lovely wood floors. Got the light colors, makes it feel light and airy and spacious. Not that this home isn't spacious. You have the storm shutters on the insides that gives you that architectural feel. The tile work in the dining room. I rather like this kitchen. It hits all the right accents. It's got the in-wall oven, and it's got the 2-bay in the recessed sink, and you have a countertop gas stove that is designed in galley style, but still doesn't quite feel galley. Lots of windows. You got the French doors. And then we move out to this enclosed porch. This is outdoor living at its finest. You have the stonework around the fireplace. You have the TV too high. Don't put a TV there. You have woodwork on the ceiling. If I remember correctly, I think that is actually a Trex floor, but then we move back inside. You got the built-ins for your office and study. Move out to the primary with carpet. Not everybody loves carpet. I get it. And then you have the bathroom that has all of the modern amenities that isn't a complete waste of space. Yes, you have the soaking tub, you have the large rainforest shower, and this one has the toilet in the open. A lot of homes of that style will have the toilet in a water closet separate. So if you want all the amenities of a modern bathroom but don't waste all the space, I think that's a great middle ground to strike there. Like I said, this one is 4 bedrooms and 4 baths, so lots of little spaces to look at. Then you move down and you have your wine cellar. It doesn't have to be a wine cellar. Turn it into your theater. You got the second story deck overlooking your lovely landscaped backyard with your outdoor kitchen if you like to cook and you want to cook in the summer. Look at that. Love it. 2-car garage. And there's the outside of the screened-in porch that we were looking at, and the 2-story deck with the retractable awning sunshade over it. So that is 701 Kossuth Street here in the Highland Park neighborhood of West Lafayette. It is 4 bedrooms, 4 baths. It is 4,566 square feet on about a quarter acre, currently listed for $750,000. If you want to check this home out, go to LafayetteReal.com/YouTube, fill out the form, and we'll go check it out together. Because if you didn't know, I'm Geoff Gooch with the Russell Company, powered by App Properties, and I would love to be your local Lafayette real estate resource of choice. And now on our third tour home of our tour of South 9th Street and Kossuth homes, we're going to tour. This one's a little further east than the first two. We're going to look at a home on Adams Street, specifically 1400 Adams Street. And as I get it pulled up here, I'll give you a little preview of it, then I'll show you the map. This one, again, lovingly restored. This one was built in 1898, so it's 128 years old. Does it look 128 years old? Nope. No, it doesn't. But if you don't know where Adams Street is, it is right here. Here's Adams. It's the east-west street that runs between 11th and 18th Street, just a little south of Kossuth. This is Highland Park right here, so just a couple blocks east of Highland Park. I'd call it almost Highland Park adjacent, definitely adjacent to the 9th Street corridor, not quite all the way over to 18th Street. And if you're not familiar with the area, here is Lafayette, and we're on the near south side of Lafayette, and here's West Lafayette and Purdue University. So location-wise, you really can't beat it. So let's go on the tour. This is 1400 Adams Street in Lafayette. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,348 square feet, built in 1898. But looking at it from the outside, you would not know that. And you would also not know it from the inside as we move from the out to the in. Look how lovingly updated this is. They have kept the wood trim around the windows, but updated with modern wood trim on the opposite side of the room. You got the wood floors, two-tone. You got the darker wood in the dining room and the lighter wood in the living room. The Scandinavian influence in the living room area with the slatted wall that I would take that TV down off of. Also got the archways with the original wood moving into the darker wood, and the wood doors in the dining room and the kitchen that is modern, but again, much like an earlier tour, not over the top. It is a perfectly fine kitchen. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Moving on down, we have the main floor powder room and the laundry room. Always lots of French doors in these old Victorians. And you can see that some of the wood is better taken care of more than others. That leaves you a little bit of work, sweat equity that you can put in yourself, and the price reflects it. And as we move up to the primary suite, you can see that we've got the updated wood beams here. We're going to talk about the bathroom. We're going to move into the bathroom here in a second. Here we go. We have a modernized bathroom with the dual basin sinks, the soaking tub, and the rainforest shower. I don't see any regular shower heads in this shower. I can't remember if I saw some when I walked around it or not. But definitely slightly more modern upstairs than downstairs. Definitely kept a few more touches of the old in some of the rooms downstairs than in the up. Then we move up to the attic space. But the bathrooms have been well taken care of here. And then we move down to the basement. That is a little bit of a... This is not the basement. This is the service area, if you will. Been sealed. Got the detached garage and shed out back. So how much do you think that this one's going for? If you had to guess. Little AI there. Not a giant fan of AI in this application. That is 1400 Adams Street in Lafayette. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,348 square feet. And the answer is $375,000. Again, dollar for dollar, feature for feature, it's going to be hard to beat this much square footage, these kind of features, this kind of update in the Greater Lafayette area. And if you want to go check that home out, go to thelafayettereal.com/YouTube, fill out the form, and let's go on a tour of this home or any home here in the Greater Lafayette area. Because I'm Geoff Gooch, and I am your local Lafayette real estate resource of choice. You can fill out that form, and you can also check out all of my contact information right here on the screen. And we can work together on all of your real estate needs here in the Greater Lafayette area.